Welcome back today, guys. Today we're going to watch Cyberboy's video on GTA 6 leaks. Let's go.
So we have some new leaked GTA 6 information, and there's reasons why we should believe it. But of course, a lot of people are going to immediately suspect that it's complete waffle, and I can completely understand that. So let me give you the context. A good friend of the channel, GameRoll, posted this tweet. Now, of course, it says that the main characters are called Jason Duval and Lucia Caminos, and of course, we know that. We are all fully aware of that. However, this was posted before we knew all of that. Now, the source that gave him this information also gave him a ton of other information, but myself and GameRoll have had multiple conversations about this in the past. It's so difficult who to believe. We have some good sources at Rockstar that don't tell us anything, but we also have some vague out of the blue sources that we don't know if their information is correct until it's announced. And of course, it was announced that these were the official names. So to cut a long story short, GameRoll has a source, and this source knows someone in Rockstar. So we're now like third, fourth party information. But this person's source in Rockstar was correct. So everything you're about to hear is purely on that basis, which is so loose, and we will talk about it at the end of the video. But of course, that particular source went through a load of other information, and in today's video, we're just going to break down what stuff has been said, and there is stuff in here which I personally don't believe is correct based on what I've been told. So we'll go through it point by point, and we'll try and break it all apart to make it as clear as possible. The first thing is that there's fully explorable malls, and skyscrapers have elevators that can take you right to the top floor. Now, this is something that we kind of knew was going to be in the game anyway, and I did a few videos in the past going through the North Point Mall and what we can expect for GTA 6. So this one is fairly believable. The next one is over 700 shops can be entered in the game. Now, this one's quite a contentious one because
700 shops? Jesus Christ! 700! Sign me up, Rockstar. Sign me up. I said sign me up for this one. 700 stores. Hopefully those stores are enterable stores, you know? Let's go.
when we say shops, we don't just mean shops. This could mean anything like vending machines. This could be locations where you buy clothes or barber shops or all of those sorts.
And you had me there.
Of things. So 700 shops may not be particular stores, but more of a combination of every sort of enterable location where we can purchase things. In that case, it's more believable. Now, the next thing is about the character wheel, which supposedly has three options. You can either just play as Jason, just play as Lucia, or you can select both of them. So for example, say if you select both of them, you can get in the car and you can go and do a robbery together. This one I've not heard any information about at all, so this one could be true, could be false, but this is what the source said. The next one is limited weapon carry, similar to Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, this one for sure. This one. This is true. We're not going to carry weapons like GTA 5. That's for sure. Where weapons are just magically apparent. So, yeah, this one is true.
Extra guns can be kept in vehicle trunks. Now, this one is one that we've speculated for a very long period of time, at least over a year now, and this is kind of alluded to in some of the stuff we got from Rockstar, where Lucia and Jason are opening the trunk. This was something that we all kind of saw was coming, and it's a really good way to kind of add in a bit of realism and immersion into the gameplay. Next is that Jason has a pet iguana at home that you can feed, and the iguana, of course, was in trailer 2, and we could see him.
Oh, yeah. If we have pets, what are you looking to have as a pet? I think we had a dog in GTA 5, maybe a cat. Who knows? Can we have a cat as a pet, Rockstar, in GTA 6? You'll see.
outside Jason's house. This one's kind of believable and there's not really anything we can dispute about this. It does make sense, hence why the iguana looked like it was wearing clothes. I think Jason actually does have the pet iguana, so we can believe this. Next, the ankle monitor on Lucia does not affect gameplay and she gets rid of it early on in the story. Now this was a really interesting one because a lot of us assumed, myself included, that the ankle monitor would be used as a form of geo restriction to stop you exploring the entire map too early in the game. But as it turns out, it's just part of the story and it's not actually a
Yeah, I sort of see there were a time where they restrict you from location. So yeah, we'll wait to see with that one.
part of the gameplay or mechanics of the game, which is a really interesting thing to know, and it kind of completely destroys all the theories that we had about it being used to limit the map. The next thing is that Jason's special ability is slow-mo with targeted weak points, similar to Deadeye.
How do you feel about having special ability? I can see the Deadeye for RDR too, but having it for GTA 6, how would you feel about that?
Lucia's special ability is also slow-mo but with one high damage shot. Now this kind of makes sense. Lucia has the one powerful shot that she can use and Jason has more like of a Deadeye special ability. To be honest, that does make sense, and they are the sort of special abilities that Rockstar would implement that would make sense to each character's specific skill sets in certain instances, so this one's relatively believable. The next one is that NPCs react if you walk with your gun out, and Jason and Lucia automatically hide it away from sight when they're walking. This is actually kind of similar to Red Dead Redemption 2, whereas if you've got a gun in your hand and you're walking past someone, they'll give you a look. So this looks like Rockstar have kind of built upon that system. Next, this person feels like a lot of the features may have been cut with the delay in mind, but they could still add stuff back in. Now this is something that is the same in any games developer, and it was the same for Grand Theft Auto 5. Loads of features that were supposed to be in the game.
Please not, please, Rockstar. If you need 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if you need 10 more years, please don't delete systems.
Had to get cut due to time constraints, so we will have to wait and see when the game releases. Next up, we have male strippers in the game. Now we actually know this anyway from the information we got from the artwork. There's actually a few clubs that advertise this outside. They have ladies' nights, so this does kind of confirm that this would be in the game. So far, they've not seen any returning Grand Theft Auto characters, but they're not familiar with past characters anyway, so they're not certain. To be clear, Game Roll Source doesn't work at Rockstar. Game Roll Source knows someone that works at Rockstar, so like I said, we're like fourth party information now. As far as they know, there's no secret map like Guarma, but they haven't played the whole story. Next, we can't use AirPods to listen to music when you're not in a car, but that could be changed before launch. We saw in the trailer that of course Jason had AirPods in his ear and a lot of characters wearing headphones and stuff like that, so we kind of assumed that maybe we'll be able to listen to music on the go, but it doesn't look like, based on this information, that will be the case. The social media feature is still absolutely bare bones right now, but supposedly they should be working on that as we speak. The naughty scenes in the game are pretty PG, where the camera pans away before the nudity, but they haven't seen any of the scenes, so maybe we might get actual nudity. In my personal opinion, this is completely incorrect. I don't think we'll get any nudity at all in the game. I spoke about this a little bit in my trailer breakdown, where all of the scenes where naughty stuff happens, the camera faces black. This is pretty much the get out of jail free card when it comes to the ESRB and the PEGI ratings boards, so I'm assuming that's what they'll actually have in the game. The shot in the trailer where Jason walks out the shop with beer is gameplay and not a cutscene. You can actually go and buy a 6-pack from the shop. And when we did the video actually diving through some of the gameplay scenes from the trailer, that's actually one of the scenes that we said we're 90% sure is gameplay. There's a guy called Donnie who's Jason's friend, and this guy says that his friend had described him as a freak, and he works for Brian with Jason. Apparently chapter 4 and 5 of the game still aren't finished, and they cut a huge chunk out of chapter 5, so it's getting reworked now. There's a mission where cops betray each other, but they don't know the context of it since they didn't play the mission leading up to it. The random encounter from the leaks where the NPC talks about Jay Norris got cut ages ago. The next one is that there's a spear gun in the game that you can use in one mission to shoot a shark. Now, the
Spare
spear gun
gun.
is something that we saw back in the 2022 leaks, and it's not really anything new, but the actual context that we use it in a mission to shoot a shark is really interesting. Now, the next one is one of them that I really do have to disagree with. Lucia has a kid, but it does not play a major role in the story. Now, this one's really interesting because the people...
There's going to be a kid in the game? Okay.
that I've spoke to at Rockstar, although they haven't said it in plain text, they've alluded to the fact that Lucia doesn't have a kid or is nothing to do with the story at all. Now, back in the early days of GTA 6 leaks, when we're talking like 2019, 2020, when we first started hearing stuff about Project Americas, there was a theory that Lucia had a child. Apparently, Lucia having a child was going to be written into the story in a big way, but later it looked like that kind of concept for the main story was scrapped. So whether Lucia does have a child, but it kind of doesn't really fit into the story is yet to be determined. However, it is worth saying if Lucia does have a child in the game, it is a weird dynamic. She either abandons her child at the start of the story to go to Vice City and party, which makes her an unlikable character, or she has a child at the end of the story and we have to complete free roam whilst looking after a child. I don't really understand how that dynamic will work, and I'm very interested to see how Rockstar can actually write a child into the story convincingly. Next, we have the options to greet and antagonize NPCs, which we saw in Red Dead
This one
Redemption
making
2.
it way
Now,
back from... This one is making its way back from RDR. I remember like antagonizing the NPCs. Make me want to go back and play RDR 2 again.
Once again, one of the things that we kind of knew would be in the game, just different interaction options, so we can move on from this one. Next is that Vice City is the largest city by far in the game. Ambrosia and Port Gowhorn are also pretty big. Once again, this is something that we could have assumed anyway, didn't really need a leak to tell us that. Of course, we now have official Rockstar information, but this information was actually given to Game Roll, from what I understand, prior to the trailer dropping, so it's definitely inside. The ability to go prone from the 2022 leaks was removed. Now, this one I don't have any information on. However, if they have removed the ability to go prone, genuinely I'll be disappointed. The whole idea that you can go prone and...
Rockstar, you were doing so good. You have time to make it up. Leave the prone. The prone. We want to go prone. I mean, Jason was in the military, so he should have those skills of going prone. Stealth in GTA 6 would be so good. Leave the prone.
And sneak around and online, and you know, it's a really cool thing that adds an extra element of kind of stealth to the game, which will make Grand Theft Auto Online a lot more enjoyable. Rather than people just trying to hide behind buildings, you can actually duck and hide behind objects. So the fact that that was removed is that the cover system is the same as usual. The 2022 leaks showed a more The Last of Us 2 dynamic system, but that was replaced with the standard single button press system, which once again is something that will be familiar to Grand Theft Auto players, but it does kind of suck that we're losing that. Maybe the animation will make up for it, you know, going into cover will look a lot cooler, but it does suck that, you know, going prone and going into cover has been changed from what we saw in the leaks. The next thing is that dual wielding is not returning from Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, this is something that I've thought kind of since day weapons in Grand Theft Auto. In Red Dead Redemption 2, it made far more sense considering the context of the game, but dual wielding in 2025 is a bit, I don't know, you don't see it. No one goes into a bank and dual wields. The next thing is that there's no Disney World parody in the game. Now, this is something that we spoke about quite heavily on the channel. Not having a Disney World parody in the game is something that I thought would be... like, they could either have a Disney World and call it Fairyland, but then have to introduce children into the game, or they could have a Disney World that's abandoned, which would kind of be cool, but it wouldn't really make sense. So just avoiding the whole Disney World thing in general probably makes a lot of sense from Rockstar's perspective. So this is something that we have spoke about in the past, and it does seem to be correct to me. Next is that the map is rectangular like GTA 5 with pink mission waypoints. This makes perfect sense, considering that it's Vice City, it's just logical. Next is that the trailer scene where Lucia gets tackled in an aeroplane is from a heist mission. The muscly woman tackling her is likely from the bodybuilding gang Lucia infiltrates. Apparently all of the trailer scenes are
Bodybuilding gang? Yo, they got a lot of information on this game.
from chapters 1 to 3 of the game only, but the scene where Lucia jumps from the bike into the truck is from chapter 3. Apparently the weapon wheel has been changed again, and this is something I have heard. Apparently the weapon wheel has gone through a few different iterations now, so this is clearly one of the things that they're just trying to get perfect for release. Next, the 6-star wanted level.
Take your time, Rockstar. Take your time. Take your time.
Is returning to Grand Theft Auto 6. There's a relationship bar mentioned in the 2022 leaked clips that still exists in the game. It works very similar to Honor in Red Dead Redemption 2. Weight mechanics in the game are a thing. There's explorable underwater areas with treasure and secrets. Supposedly, driving is the best it's ever been in a GTA game. Gore and dismemberment is being built off what we had in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh yeah! Gore. We love gore. Yes, Rockstar. The more gore, the better. Gore system is making its way back.
The map once again is an island, and it has no panhandle. Now, when it comes to the panhandle, this is something I was very vocal on. So the GTA 6 mapping project added the panhandle over a year ago now, based on 1 or 2 signs in the leaks that were very vague. Now, those signs were real Florida signs and were just placeholders, and can't say where I got it from, but the information I have is that the panhandle isn't in the game. The map is actually a somewhat similar shape to GTA 5's map, with the islands down the bottom. Now, of course, when I was very vocal about this, saying that the panhandle doesn't appear to be in the game based on what I know, well, the mapping community Discord doesn't like me at the moment, but from everything I know so far and every conversation I've had with relevant people, the panhandle does not appear to be in the game. So this is one of the reasons that I'm tending to believe this person, because it's an unpopular opinion to put out there, but I believe that this is the case. Now, just to add on the end, here's some cut/non-existing content. No fully nude scenes. Listening to music outside of a car apparently isn't a thing. Prone was cut a while ago. Dual wielding weapons isn't in the game. There's obviously no Disney World parody, but also there's no burglary in the game. There is no mini game to burgle houses. So that's all of the information we have so far. It is worth saying a few key things. Firstly, internally at Rockstar, sometimes red.
All right, there you have it. Those are the leaks. Like, I get the dual wheeling. I get the parody of Disney World, but prawn, I would want prawn inside the game for sure. Let me know how you feel about its GTA 6 leaks. Again, this is only speculations. Leave a comment how you feel. Like, subscribe, and share. There will be more. Stay tuned.